I consider you friends if you're here, so I'm going to call you friends. I have something I just need to share some of these things that have been popping up for me that I feel so strongly about as an empath and as a highly sensitive person that I am coming out from behind the camera, showing you my face, even though I am very camera shy and I feel very awkward. So bear with me. I'm going to do the best I can to make this short and to the point. But I really want to talk to you about some things that I have been learning. I'm 53. I did not know these things. I did not understand how they applied to my life and how much they have hurt me. And I think they have hurt everyone. Gaslighting has hurt everyone because we don't understand it. We don't know about it. And what happens is we are in a society that gaslights so much of the time that we turn our gaslighting, those of us who are sensitive, internally, we gaslight ourselves. So I want to share unintentional gaslighting things that I have found from simplypsychology.org. You can look it up, unintentional gaslighting, because even that is so painful and damaging. And you need to know about it as a sensitive person because you're probably doing this to yourself. I've been doing this to myself most of my life, and I didn't even know it because this is the environment that I grew up in. It was so much gaslighting that I didn't even know that I was being gaslit. So it's a big deal. So gaslighting in general is manipulating someone's perception of reality. And people who gaslight do this so naturally that honestly, you just don't even know. You don't even realize that's what they're doing. So their whole thing is about manipulation and control. And there's so much in our society, religions, schools, parents who are gaslighters. And I'm not going to make excuses anymore for this behavior. It's wrong. And it's wrong to do it to ourselves. It's wrong to do it to others. And if we're not even realizing that we're doing it, let's change that. Let's get aware. And those of us who are highly sensitive and empathic, we just pick it up and we do it to ourselves more than anyone else. But if we're doing it to ourselves, we're probably doing it to others. So I just want to share this because I didn't know. And now that I know, I am going to do better. And I hope that it helps other people. So here it is. The first one is dismissive language. Well, first of all, unintentional gaslighting. I'm just going to read this. It may not involve a deliberate attempt to manipulate or control someone's perception of reality. It still involves undermining others' feelings, experiences, or sense of self. It still involves undermining another's feelings, experiences, or sense of self. So you are telling the truth. As a sensitive person, as an empath, your intent is to be genuine and honest and forthright. And so it's really important to share this with other people. If you're unintentionally gaslighting, you can change it. You can also notice it when other people are doing it and speak up about it. And when you speak up about it, you're going to find out who this person is in your life, like who they really are and how their intent or what their intent is to share with you this experience and say, oh, I could do better. Or if they're going to blame you, then that means something else. And I'm sorry to say, they're narcissistic. So narcissists just do this naturally. They love to manipulate They love to undermine people because they get pleasure out of it. They get pleasure from hurting other people. Those of us who are sensitive and empathic, we do not want to harm anyone. But what happens a lot of the time is we end up harming ourselves because we're blaming ourselves, we're putting ourselves down. We think that we've done something wrong when we haven't. And anytime we push down our emotions and our experiences and don't feel safe to share them in the world because we've been consistently gaslit, criticized, blamed, treated like we're annoying, treated like we're less than for any reason, when we're just trying to share our emotions, we are being genuine. We're being ourselves. We're speaking up. When we've continuously been put down and treated like this is unacceptable behavior, to be honest, then we stop doing it and we start internalizing these things. And I can tell you, this is damaging. It hurts your body. It hurts your mind. It hurts your spirit. It minimizes who we are. So let's help each other notice when someone is being gaslit. Notice when we're being gaslit. So the first one, and these are some examples from Simply Psychology. Dismissive language, using phrases like, "You're overreacting. It's not a big deal." Have you had those? How often have you been treated as a child, especially? "You're overreacting. This isn't a big deal. Why are you getting so upset about this?" I've had this happen to me all of my life. So I guarantee you it's probably happened to you more than 5 times. So you're being dismissed. Your emotions aren't important. That's gaslighting. Minimizing experiences. So telling you it's not that bad. Other people have it much worse than you. I cannot tell you how many times that has happened to me in my life. I know it happens so often. We do it to ourselves. Well, I'm having this issue, but this other person's got it so much worse, so I'm not going to bring mine up. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want anyone to feel worse. I did this my whole life. I didn't bring things up because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So I didn't want to put anybody out. And it was so damaging to me. I literally got so sick that I died twice. I'm not saying this lightly. Minimizing our experiences is damaging. Whether you're doing it to yourself or someone else has been doing this, or lots of people have been doing this, no matter what, it's damaging. And so recognizing that your experiences and emotions are valid, no matter what the situation. It's important to know this. Don't put them down. Don't minimize them. Blaming the victim. Blaming you. If you bring something up to someone and they turn it around and blame you for causing the situation, the first thing that a sensitive, empathic person does is we've already been blaming ourselves because we want harmony. We don't want to have conflicts. But it gets to the point where we have to share these things, and blaming ourselves is not going to make it better. It's not going to fix it. And the truth is, allowing other people to blame you for causing this situation isn't helping them either, because they are not taking responsibility. They're not taking that needed step to make their lives better. And they're not going to make you feel happy, that's for sure, by blaming you. And it gets to the point where if you're being blamed for bringing up anything that is contrary to someone else's opinion and you get blamed, you stop bringing that opinion up. You stop sharing it. So that is dangerous. I spent my childhood not saying the things that bothered me because I knew I would get in trouble. I got blamed. I got hurt. I got more than blamed. I got spanked. I got hit with a belt on a regular basis if I brought up any contrarian opinion to my parents' fundamentalist religious bullshit. I didn't feel right about it. I never did. But I learned very quickly not to bring up these opinions or emotions or things that bothered me. They weren't being honest. They were treating us like, I think I just need to do another video about that. But honestly, treating us like we were supposedly better than everyone else. I don't want to think that. I never liked that. It never felt right to me. And being the chosen people, it never felt right to me that these people were going to burn in hell. And, it's all doomsday, fear-based things. And sometimes, this blaming the victim, the person who brings up this situation that's not right, is a threat. We're threatened for bringing these things up. And that is not okay. It's absolutely not okay. So I'm just going to go over them very quickly. Unintentional gaslighting is dismissive language, minimizing experiences, blaming the victim, and contradicting. Sorry, I didn't bring up conflicting yet. Contradicting. Contradicting is it's the one I put the star next to. Contradicting you when you bring something up that's really important. So I was talking about religion. That is one of the biggest things that I had trouble with as a child, is I didn't feel right about these things and I would bring something up. And just a question, like, why is this? I can't think of a question right now that I would have brought up, but there were so many questions that I had. Like, why do girls have to wear their hair? We had to wear our hair. We couldn't cut our hair. We had to wear it in a bun, or we had to wear braids. It was a fundamentalist cult. And guys didn't have to do anything different. It was all girls. And so I would bring that up. Luckily, I got to do sports, but that was a big problem in the beginning because wearing shorts was unacceptable for girls. They had to wear dresses. Just not being myself. I never felt comfortable in that kind of attire, and I was forced to wear things that made me stand out, made me feel uncomfortable. So I was blamed and criticized most of my life. I mean, most of that life before I left the church. So being contradicted on a regular basis and treated like, that shaming and that guilting, that is gaslighting. That's abuse. It's emotional abuse. And the truth is, gaslighting is emotional abuse. And sometimes it turns to physical abuse, like spanking and beating a kid with a belt and finding that, I guess that's a corporal punishment. That's what happened to me and my sister. It was acceptable to lash your kids' butts and backs with a leather belt. And I remember my sister getting welts. I'm sure I did too, but I got to the point where I wouldn't even cry or scream because I didn't want to give him any more pleasure out of doing that to me. So again, pushing down all these things that are wrong and being contradicted and told, yeah, you're special, but yet treated so badly, you know. So the words were kind and gentle and, well, not even gentle, just surface I love yous, and then turning around and beating you with a belt. That's not love. That's, I would ask questions about Jesus and God and, like, what? Wait a minute, that's not loving, treating people like that. And I would be gaslit, contradicted. Well, you're lying. You're not listening. You didn't read it right. This is, and quoting a bunch of other things, other verses or someone else's opinion, throwing it back at you. So you get to the point where you just don't share these opinions because your opinions are going to be invalidated and you're probably going to get in trouble. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get threatened. This is the danger of gaslighting. And if you bring it up to people in your life and they blame you for bringing it up or threaten you for bringing it up, then that tells you who they are, that they are narcissistic. And that's their natural go-to. Here's an example of something that's healthy. When you educate yourself about gaslighting and you recognize that it's happening in your life, let's say it's your partner or your therapist. In my case, this happened recently with both my partner and my therapist. I brought something up. So I'm going to use the example with my therapist because I respect her and I know that she cares about me. But I am naturally going to make, without knowing these things now, before I would have made excuses and just wrote it off and told myself again, that dismissing, it's not that big of a deal. Just let it go. Just let it go. Well, meanwhile, it's building up inside of me and that hurt matters. It invests itself in my body. I start to feel it in my neck and my shoulders and my back, pain in my hips. I feel it in my body. So it's important to bring it up, but it's hard for me to make these statements and feel like I'm conflicting anyone, making them feel bad. I don't want to make anybody feel bad. But meanwhile, I matter. I'm learning that I matter. I don't want to hurt myself anymore. And I used to care more about other people's feelings than my own. So I brought it up to my therapist. What happened was I called my therapist. I needed an emergency meeting. I was really in distress. I had a very bad situation happen. And I called for a special appointment and she called me back within a couple of hours and she helped me. She really helped me. And I was, bawling and crying the whole time, but I needed that. And at the end of the conversation, she said, I will call you when I get done here with work. I'll call you and check on you. And I thanked her and I did better after that. I felt better after the appointment and I worked through some things. So 5:00 rolls around when I know she's going to finish her situation, her job, and she doesn't call. It hurt. It really hurt. And I kind of pushed it down and I'm like, okay, how do I deal with this? It really hurt me that she didn't follow through. And she's done this before. And I didn't say anything about it. So we had an appointment in the next week, and it's the first thing I brought up. And I said, I trust you. I want to trust you, but I have trust issues. And she knows about them because, of course, that's why I'm going to therapy. So I said, I trust you. I trust that you care about me. But when you promise me something like that, like you're going to call me, and then you don't, it really hurts and it makes me not trust you, not trust that you're telling me the truth. And here's what she did. Instead of blaming me, instead of dismissing my feelings or making me feel guilty, she said, I'm so sorry. You're right. I did that. And I not only did that to you, but I did it to another client. Thank you for bringing it up. I need to be better at this. It's not right what I did. I am so sorry. Wow. I've very rarely in my life ever had someone not only apologize when I brought up my feelings that I was hurt. And of course I was crying when I said I was hurt, because I was deeply hurt. She thanked me for bringing it up. This is healthy. It's helping her be a better person. It's helping her be accountable. She wants to be responsible. This is how I know that I can trust her and that I can bring up my feelings. And she's going to listen and she's going to try to be better. And in the weeks since, she has followed up. When she has promised me something, I kind of say, okay, so are you going to write a note about it? And she does. She's followed through. So she's already changed. I have not had this much in my life. My partner is another person who is willing to acknowledge their responsibility instead of blaming me. And I have had literally, this is like the third person in my whole life that is treating me with respect, but mostly because I am learning about gaslighting. I am learning about being an empath and what it means to stand up for yourself and how hard it is to stand up for yourself, especially when you've been gaslit most of your life and abused. I mean, gaslighting is emotional abuse. It becomes physical abuse sometimes. And also it becomes, if you're an empath or a highly sensitive person, it becomes physically painful and it can lead to terrible health. So it's so important that we share this information and we learn about this for ourselves. And it's brought me out here. I'm coming out to share this with you because it's helped me. It's helping me get stronger and recover from a lot of the pain and trauma that I've experienced in my life. So I'm going to be coming on to share a few of these things and my experiences, and I do hope it helps. Thank you for being here, and please share your experiences, and hopefully it will help someone else. Thank you.